Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Hunter Zano, and welcome to Online Marketing Moves. Okay. if you wanna learn about online marketing, if you wanna learn about starting an online business, or if you wanna just learn about entrepreneurship, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a podcast for you. We come to you every day with a new and improved podcast. Of course, no, if you're already listening, you can ignore this pitch, but this is for the rest of you. Uh, we come every day with a podcast. Sometimes they're 5 minutes long, sometimes they're an hour. It just depends on the day. As you well know, well, some of you don't know. Some of you that are listening in the year 2027, look at us bringing that old joke back. If you're listening in the year 2027, hello. 2020 has been a hell of a year, let me tell you that. but anyway, if you know, you know. If you don't know, we do this podcast every day. We're going to do this podcast every day for the next 365 days. And then when we get to July 15th, 2021, we will figure out what are we going to do as far as how many times we upload, when do we upload, we'll figure all that out. But for right now, the podcast is daily, so you can always come, subscribe, download wherever you get your favorite podcast. Of course, this should be your number one podcast, but I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna chastise you too much if it's not yet anyway. All right. And if you want to read some articles, of course, we gotta write more articles. But this is Plug Sunday, so just bear with me. You'll be okay. But you gotta get your stuff in, as they say. If you want to read some articles of mine, you can always go to thelousydriver.com and look under, blog. We have quite a few articles now. We got to get more, though. We need more articles. And you can always go to Medium and just look up Tony Rizzano. I got something there, too. If you want to see any content of mine, just type in Tony Rizzano and it'll pop up. And also, let's get serious for a moment. As I told you yesterday, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, just look up Tony Rizzano. Subscribe, and in the next week or so, videos will be showing up. Well, not videos, but podcast videos. Like I told you, we're going to start breaking it down into more. It's going to be more segmented. Start breaking down to more segments, so that way we can upload a few snippets on the YouTube, and then we're going to, of course, mix in some real live videos on the YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. But as you well know, today's Sunday. If you're an avid listener, which some of you are, and if you're not, today is Sunday. Monday's a month. Normally on Sundays, we don't really have a specific topic. We just sort of talk about belief and, the abilities, and trying to, look into yourself to get inspiration to get started on wherever you want to go. Whatever journey you are on, whatever path you want to take, today's a good day to always reflect. Today's a good day to always think about what you can do, because as I said before, at the end of the day, you are going to help you more than me, more than your parents, more than anybody. You are the deciding factor. You are the one that can make it happen, or you're the one that's not going to make it happen. I'm just here to sort of, I'm here to help out like a tool. but eventually it's up to you. And what are you gonna do? You have to look at yourself in the mirror. Like I told you before, some people they want to start online business. Of course, if you're listening to this, you want to start something. I mean, if you listen to this, you might like me, but you're listening to this for a reason. So sometimes we have to hold. Sometimes we just have to hold the mirror up and look at ourselves. I don't know if you ever done. I don't know if you ever done that, but if you sometimes if you just like if you just stand there and you look in the mirror and you look at yourself, and I mean really look at yourself, you can see what's on the inside. You can just look and you can be like, and me personally, I sometimes I stop and I look and I say, okay, what are we doing? Are we going to do this? And of course, me personally, I'll give you a little. I talk to myself because, as you well know, I'm not gonna say as you well know, but driving trucks for 15 years, you you a lot of times you're by yourself. No matter if you're a local driver over the road or whatever, a lot of times you're by yourself. And when you spend a lot of time by yourself, you have to, and you can't be on the phone all the time. So, because that would just be like, I know a lot of people act like they can't spend time by themselves, but it's like if you spend time with yourself, you can reflect on things that you've done, reflect on things that you want to do, and reflect on mistakes you made, things that you've done great. You can just have a all out, conversation with yourself. Like, hey, what are we doing? Where are we going? Where are you taking? Where are you taking us to? You know what I mean? I have those every now and then, and more. They used to just, for me, they used to just sort of be, hey, what's been going on? But now, for me, because I'm at the stage now where I want what I want, and I know what I want, and I'm at the stage now to I'm going to get what I want, and I'm going to make things happen, and I'm going to work from home, and I'm going to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I look forward to that. So now the conversations get deeper, and it's not. And I'm not saying if you talk to yourself, you're not crazy. You just sometimes you have to reflect and go, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What do we need to do? You say this out loud. That's why I write down my goals every day, and I look at them sometimes at night, or sometimes I think about them when I'm driving, and I go, okay, what are we doing to get to this goal? What are we going to do to make this goal happen? And it's reflective, it's thoughtful, it's I'm in the present moment, and it's not. And as I told you before, it's not about it's about being present. And it's about every day checking in with yourself, or just saying, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What do we need to do? Because you have to. It's not going to be in a straight line. Everything's not in a straight line. Everything's not going to go, as planned. Sometimes you have to make a few corrections, and that's okay. But the main thing is, don't jump off the. if something small happens, don't crash the plane. Just correct the course a little bit. It's sort of like when I was a kid, I would be playing Nintendo sometimes, and you would be playing somebody, and you might be beating them, and you could be beating them bad, or you might be winning, and somebody would get pissed, and they would hit the reset button, and then they were like, oops, and you're like, oops, he did that on purpose, and it's funny. Sometimes you think like, oh, if I can just reset, but it's like life doesn't have a reset button. You you can start over. You can change things. You can say, hey, this is not working. Let me scrap it. But you don't have to just, it's not a reset button. It's not a video game. It's your life. And most of the times, if something's not going right for you, or something's going right, you just have to figure out what am I doing right to what am I doing right so I can keep this thing going and keep it afloat, you know? What corrections can I make or what adjustments can I do to get to where I need to be, get to where I'm going? And we talked about before, it's not about the start, it's not about the end, it's the journey. The journey is the best thing. The journey is fun. Trust me, the journey is the best part because life's a journey. Every day, life's a journey. And you find out more and more things. You find out different things. And you adapt them into your life. Some things that you knew when you was younger or growing up, you're like, all right, I learned that. Now I'm going to do something different, you know. It's like when I was younger, I knew how to survive, you know. Like when I was in my 20s, I knew how to get by. I knew, hey, you know, I'm not making a lot of money. I wasn't making a lot of money. And I was like, all right, I can't take trips around the world because I don't have any money, but I can keep my cable on and I can, I can do things like that, you know. But so I was in survival mode, and eventually I told myself I had to get out of survival mode, you know. Now it's funny how like sometimes you're so used to something that you just sort of fall back. You fall back into the same thing, but now at the ripe age of 41, I'm out of survival mode, and now I'm in the thrive. You know, I want to thrive with everything I do. You know, like as far as business, you know, business, professional life, relationship wise, religious wise. I'm talking about me. It's religion. Like I want to get. For me, I want to get closer to, the good Lord. I don't know about you. I can't speak for you. But, spiritually, financially, emotionally, like with my wife, I want our relationship to thrive, not just survive, not just being like, we got to do this, we got to do that. No, I want us to thrive. I want us to be happy. We used to be healthy, whole, Like these are things that I want. And these are things that, I think about on a regular basis. It's like, all right, I spent my time growing up. My parents and I, brother, we survived. We was, parents, they worked hard. We had struggles financially and everything like that, but we survived. We made it, and now, like, I'm proud of them because they don't. It's not survive anymore. It's thrive. Now they do what they want to do. They make plenty of money now. They're happy. Financially. It's not like it was when it's like, uh, like I remember like when I was a kid. It's funny. When we had, I always knew when we had money, we would get pork chops. When we didn't have money, we would get pork steak. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. Now I think about them, they make me chuckle. Because it's like, oh, we got pork steak. Okay, well, money's a little tight, but if we have pork chops, money's doing good. My parents haven't bought a pork steak in. My parents haven't bought a pork steak since been a grown man. So I was like, ding ding, there you go. Thriving. So for me, surviving was kind of like, what can I do to get out of that, But now here I am, going to up and up and up, And so I just say all that to say it's okay if it's okay to be self-reflective sometimes. It's okay to, look in the mirror. It's okay to, talk to yourself and say, hey, what are we doing? You want to check in with yourself. It's just like any relationship. The relationship within you with you, is like one of the most important relationships you can have. It's just like, yeah, friendships is important. People are important, but if you're not happy with yourself, if you're not happy with the way things are going, that can affect you in other relationships. That can affect you in your relationship with your family. That can affect you with the relationship with your significant other. That can affect your work relationship with the people you work with. That can affect a lot of different things if you're not in tune with yourself. If you're not happy with yourself. So this is why I say always, check in with yourself. It's okay if you do that, because sometimes you just go through the motions and you don't realize you're going through the motions, and you're like, all right, I feel like I'm going through the motions. What can I do to stop this? What can I, whatever, because we all have. I used to think, that, you know, you see people and you're like, oh man, they had it easy, but everybody goes through their own trials and tribulations, because we're human beings, so maybe you didn't have to worry about eating pork steak. You were 7, but you had something that probably bothered you, something that affected you, you know what I mean? And you have to just make sure that in life, like, hey, I'm doing this, but I'm happy. Like, you just want to make sure that you are in a good space, because when you want to take on the when you want to it's hard to take on the world when you're not happy with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to go out there and fight the good fight when you're having your own fight with yourself. When you're not content with the person you are, or with the person that you are, might be becoming. It's hard to, you know, take on the world, conquer the world. I've had to learn that the hard way. It's like you think you're. Sometimes you just sort of go through the motions, and it's like, am I like? And then for the longest time, I didn't know that. I was like, am I just going through the motions? Like, I'll give you an example. And after you, and then, you know, I discuss in this podcast. We discuss things, but I had to, I had to bring up myself because I use movie examples and all that kind of stuff. But things like this, you have to get personal. You know what I mean? So, to give an example, I remember, like, I've been driving. I've been driving trucks for like maybe 5 or 6 years. I'm at the point. I was like, yeah, I'm getting kind of, I mean, one day, you just sort of driving and you just sort of doing it because you got used to it. It becomes a habit. You're like, all right, I drive, they pay me. I park here, I park there. I see different things, and it's like it's alright, it's cool. You know what I mean? And then I remember I was, I was walking by. I took a shower at the truck stop. And walking by, and I look, and I haven't looked in the mirror in a long time. And it's like, so I'm just looking, and I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, I have this beard, and I just keep looking at myself. I'm like, who are you now? Like, who are you? What have you become? Like, who are you? Like, do I even know who this person is that I'm looking at in the mirror? And I mean, that is, to me, that was like a, not a scary feeling, but it was so strange because, like, I see this person every day, but I'm not seeing who this person is. Like, I don't know this person right now. Like am I a kind of like a zombie. You know what I mean? You're just going through the motions. And it's like, do you want to go? How long do you want to go through the motions? And I don't want to. And that's one reason why I decided to myself. I was like, I don't give a damn how long it takes. I don't care. Make. I gotta make this a thing. Like, I knew that I wanted to work for myself, and I knew that I wanted to create something for me that would benefit me, not just me, of course, financially, but financial is in the background, and it's important because I was like, I don't want to. For me, I was like, I don't want to drive a truck forever. Because for me, it's kind of like not pain. I'm not in pain when I drive a truck, but for me, I get this, like tomorrow I'll go back to work, and for me, it's gonna be like when I'm here, when I'm home, when I'm in my home, when I'm with my wife. I have a more joyful, a more spirited approach to life. And now when I go back, the the thing that the thing like in the last four, and this is not a joke, but the thing that has made the truck, like manageable, feasible, like I'm not like depressed when I get into the thing. The thing that makes that I always look forward to is doing the podcast and working on, this business that I have. This when I'm in the truck, the the best thing is, all right, I'm done driving. I'm like, all right, time's up. I parked wherever I wanted to park. Now I can focus on what I want to focus on, what I like, what I love doing, and that is this, so this, doing this podcast, doing this, all this stuff has helped me in turn, like get over it, because I would get down in the dumps, and it you just sort of lay there, and you would watch TV, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna get up and do something. I'm gonna get up and do something, and then it'd be 4 or 5 hours later, I just sort of be stuck at the same spot, and I'm like, I got nothing done today, But now it's not like that. Now it's like, hey, you know what you got to do? You got to produce this content. You got to do this podcast. Let's go. And when I'm driving, I think about the podcast. I think about you listening to the podcast, and I think, what can I do to get the podcast better? What can I do to, be better in the affiliate marketing? What can I do to start creating my own products? Have all these thoughts, and then I work on these thoughts. And I write the stuff down. I write the goals down, and it makes my life happy, which in turn makes me, it does sound selfish, but it's like the the happier I am on the inside, the happier I can make other people, like my wife and my family and things of that nature, I mean, it's selfish, but it's just who we are as human beings, The happier you are, the more you can project that happiness onto others, I mean, it's just sort of the way it is. So always just, check in with yourself and go, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we do to get out of the situation that we're in? What can we do to whatever we're doing right? What can we do to keep doing the same thing, to make it better, And there's never I mean, if you're satisfied, you're satisfied, whatever you're satisfied with, you know. Like, I'm, like, some people, they're like, the one thing to me I don't think about is, well, as far as like I do a podcast and I send I send people information and I make phone calls and everything like that. But the thing I don't think about is the money aspect because I know it's gonna be there. Like I don't give that a thought. Like I know the next month or two that money's gonna come in abundance, and I know that because I am setting myself up to obtain this money. Like I'm doing this stuff every day. I am, being to me, this is just my opinion, but I have set myself up for the abundance that I will receive, the money that I will receive. Not just abundance in money, but the abundance in marriage, happiness, all that stuff. If I if this is your first time listening to this, don't worry. This is not every day. This is just Sundays. But yeah. So things that you want to do, of course, just figure figure them out, make it happen, and trust me, it's not about the as we said this in this podcast. The beginning, you got to start from somewhere. So you gotta get started. But I'm telling you, the everyday journey makes this exciting. Like I get excited every day that I'm gonna do a podcast. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. It brings me I'm satisfied when I do a podcast. Like and then like most of 90% of the time we upload these on before 8 or around 8 a.m. That's like the scheduled time. Of course, this week we missed out on a few, but but for the most part, 8 a.m. And at 8 a.m. I look, I go, and I say, okay, it's uploaded, we're good to go. Then I come back later on and I look and I say, oh look, people have downloaded, people have listened, so I'm like, people like it, people enjoy it. It makes me happy. It brings me happiness. So then I'm driving down the road and things happen like because before this would bother me a lot. Like I would be driving, I would get to a place and they would say, "Oh, it's a 2-3 hour wait. You gotta wait 2-3 hours." And then most of the time I'm like, but now I'm like, no, I'm like, okay, great. Gives me 2 or 3 hours. I can write something. I can do a podcast. I can do a couple podcasts. I can do whatever. So I'll take that negative that I would think, before 2020, I would take that as a negative, and then I would be like, I would make it more negative, and then I would call my wife and I would complain a lot, and it would be more negative. But now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make this negative into a positive. I'm gonna turn this into a podcast. I'm gonna do something to help my business, to help me get out of this situation faster. You know what I mean? So, but to summarize this whole podcast, always check in with yourself. Take a look. Take a good look. Look in the mirror and just ask yourself, am I happy? Am I content? Am I satisfied? What can I do to get myself more? And it's not just about anything in your life, not just job wise, not just money wise, just any little thing that you think, if I do X, Y, and Z, this will make me more happy. If I do, X, Y, Z, if I cut, I even give you another example. I give you me and my wife, our garage was cluttered. It was shit. It was bad. I didn't like the garage. I used to walk by it and it used to make me annoyed. I would be super annoyed when I would walk by the garage. I'm like, why is our garage not nice, And I was like, you know what? I was like, we're just gonna have to we're gonna have to get in there one day and clean it up. And then one day, Told my wife, I said, today's the day. We're gonna get in here, we're gonna clean it up, and throw stuff away. We got moving people, or we got this junk company. We boxed up a lot of stuff ourselves, took it outside, and then we did everything we needed to do. And then by the end of the night, the next morning, I walked to the garage, I looked, and I was so happy. I was like, look at that. It gave me joy. And I thought, I was like, it's so weird that, like, cleaning the garage would make me this, like, chipper, And then it gave me, I told my wife, and she said, I already told you that. But I said, and I was like, I can't wait to straighten out the rest of this house, And she's like, I've been told you that. I was like, I know, but I said, once you see something's done, I was like, I didn't realize how it would make me, so happy, so excited, I said, I didn't realize that it would, bring me, I never would have thought that cleaning out a silly garage would be like, oh, I'm like, maybe that's, I don't know if that's something to do with life or whatever, but it just gave me joy, And now it's like we have a room. Next project that's gonna it's gonna brighten my day. We have room in the house. We're gonna make this into a studio. It's gonna be like a little little podcast studio, It's gonna be where I write my stuff, And I'm like, I can't wait to make that happen. I will be so happy. Like, the thought about it just puts a smile on my face. Like, I can't wait to set up my microphone. I can't wait. I look forward to it. So, that's that. But anyway, that's just a little few examples, But anyway, don't be afraid to check in with yourself. Don't be afraid to take a good look every now and then in the mirror and be like, who am I? What am I doing? Where are we going? What is this all about? All right? That's it for now. That's the Sunday episode. Hope you enjoyed it. As we always say every weekend, or most of the time on Sundays, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about this hard-hitting podcast, all right? We are rocking and rolling. We are picking up steam, and we want you. Sunday sounds like a recruiting for the congregation, but no, we want you to join. We want you to be a listener. The material is only gonna get better, and I know I've said this before, but we'll start doing interviews. We'll start getting more guests. And of course, we'll start uploading the snippets, some stuff on the YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe to that. With that being said, my name is Tony Rizzano. I hope your week went well. I know most of us are gonna get back to it tomorrow. With that being said, enjoy your day. Finish off that leftover turkey, and we will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, everybody, peace.